Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. May Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai's peace be bestowed unto you, hopefully elect. I'm your brother Yahweh Call from Great Millstone, Orlando. Just back here, I'm going to play a few minutes of this video by Steve Ram. Just going into more wars and rumors of wars. Pretty much like the video that I did yesterday, going into how Trump reposting an old tweet of some sort on his Truth Social platform, basically insinuating martial law. It just goes to show you how at any moment, as the scriptures, throughout the scriptures, the Lord emphasizes on the sudden destruction, being that we're close. At any given moment, all hell can break loose. But of course, pertaining to prophecy, and the main prophecy we are on the lookout for being that MOTB. Other than that, Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai is really moving things into place. Because again, at any moment, any given moment, it just goes to show you how things can change overnight. And with that being said, going into this, Russia's, what do you call it? Dead man system, which is similar to the Samson option that them small hats have been talking about not too long ago. Again, man, it just goes to show you how dangerously close we are and how dangerous, you know, at any moment, like I said. So with that being said, I'm going to get into this video.
And the use of tactical nuclear weapons. Take a look at the latest headlines with me so that way you can see it for yourself. Trump says Medvedev is entering dangerous territory after U.S.-Russia war threats. You can see this coming out today, July 31st, 2025. I'm going to get you all the details. Trump tells Russian officials to watch his words, but the official bites back instead. The former Russian president, Dmitry Medvedev, offers President Trump a useful foil to criticize without rebuking Vladimir Putin. Now, also, take a look at this. I'm going to be playing for you the actual interview that took place here so you can see it for yourself. But in case of war with the U.S., Russia will rely on tactical nuclear weapons due to the weakness of their army, Marco Rubio says, saying that they will bust out those tactical nukes. Now, Trump wants a deal to end Russia's war in Ukraine by August 8th. The U.S. tells the UN, and this is what kind of sparked this a couple days ago. Earlier this week, I let you know that Trump had put that ultimatum on Russia, and we saw that response, that every ultimatum that is placed against Russia will be one step closer to war. And now we're seeing Trump responding back and Russia responding back overnight as well. Now, Trump is also going to be hitting India with 25% tariffs plus penalties for trade with Russia. And here's the actual True Social post that came out so you can see it for yourself. Trump said, I don't care what India does with Russia. They can take their dead economies down together for all I care. We have done very little business with India. Their tariffs are too high, among the highest in the world. Likewise, Russia and the USA do almost no business together. Let's keep it that way and tell Medvedev, who was the one that was threatening the United States with potential war, the failed former president of Russia, who thinks that he's still the president, to watch his words. He's entering very dangerous territory. So there you have it, you guys. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comments. We saw that Trump said that he was going to give Russia 50 days. Now he's cut that down to 10 days. So August 8th, by then he's saying there needs to be a ceasefire or they're going to ramp up the pressure on Russia to put an end to this war that they have going on right now in Ukraine. Let me know your thoughts. War or peace? Drop it in the comments. Where do we go from here? What is Russia going to do with all of this rhetoric going back and forth between the United States and Russia? War or peace? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are we going to war? Or are we going to come to some sort of an agreement? Now, in addition to that,
And real quick, because I'm going to add that question in the title concerning war or peace. Now, of course, being that these people, they're afraid. They don't understand prophecy. All right, their eyes are blinded. They don't know what's going on. All right, these people, they're not rooted in Yahweh Bashim Shai. So, of course, you know, as I'll have to talk about, you know, get into the comments, because everyone's crying out for peace, right? But obviously, to those of us, we know, as the scriptures say, there's a time for everything. There's a time for war and there's a time for peace, and we're not in the time for peace. Yahweh Bashim Shai, he's extended his grace long enough, and the doors of mercy are vastly, quickly coming to an end. And it's time for the sins of the world it's time for the inhabitants of the world to pay for their sins. And subconsciously, people know they've lived a life full of iniquity. They've lived their life contrary to Yahweh Shema Shai. And I don't know if you've been paying attention, but everyone is all of a sudden posting scriptures, you know, scripture of the day, scriptorial quotes and things of that nature, because people are afraid and they know they have to, subconsciously, they know they have to pay for their crimes. You see, but I'm gonna grab this real quick, because like I said, throughout the scriptures, the Lord emphasizes on that sudden destruction. As a matter of fact, scratch that, because like I said, in these comments, people they want peace, right? But again, we're not in the time of peace. We're in the time of war, and it's time for the world to be judged, right? And people are talking about peace in the name of who they ignorantly call Jesus, right? No peace until Jesus comes, right? You know, for the most part, people are looking forward to the second coming of who they call Jesus, because they believe that, again, you can live a life full of sin and at the last second get raptured out of here, which is not the case whatsoever. All right. And that's a prideful doctrine, because again, at the last second, you can get raptured out of here and not be held accountable for your actions. That's pride. So that's why these people, they're looking forward to the second coming of who they call Jesus. Right. People are looking forward to the day of the Lord, and you have absolutely no idea concerning the day of the Lord. You have no idea what that entails. So that's why I'm going to go to this. In Amos 5:18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. So again, right, people are looking forward to Jesus coming, right? Like this comment here, there will be no peace until Jesus comes, right? But you have no idea. These people have no idea. All right. You look forward to the second coming of who you call Jesus, right? But you have no idea. You have no idea what you're asking for. All right. When the day of Yahweh Shai, the day of Yahweh Shai's return. But thankfully we do. And that's why we rejoice at the harvest, as the scriptures say. All right. Because I'm going to grab this. As we're inching closer and closer to this nuclear fallout, I'm going to grab this in Proverbs 3. Proverbs 3:25. Be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. You see, we have nothing to worry about. Lord willing, we are that number to the hopeful elect. We have nothing to worry about. All right. Dealing with the desolation of the wicked, which ultimately going into this nuclear winter, this nuclear fallout that is going to take place, as I mentioned yesterday. It's not even an idea. It's not even a conspiracy theory. It's a fact. A nuclear fallout will take place. Nuclear destruction will happen. And what's cool about it is, whether you believe it or not, Yahweh Shema Shah doesn't give a damn if you believe or not. That's what's cool about it. So while you people are talking shit, all right, you stop your ears. Those missiles, all these nations are not stacking up on the missiles just for those missiles to be put in a museum, not to be used. And we are inching closer and closer to this nuclear fallout. All right. So I'm gonna play on some more.
While you're dropping war or peace in the comments, I'm seeing war starting to come in. Do me a favor before you dive in. If you appreciate the updates, take a second and hit that thumbs up like button. Now, I'm going to put all of the articles and the video footage on the screen so you can see it for yourself. They're going to be hyperlinked in the description, so you can click it, go read it for yourself. You'll see the dates, you'll see the sources, try to get you the latest updated information on this as of today, July 31st, 2025. And again, if you appreciate that, please take a second, hit that like button. Now, to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll keep you up to speed, pretty much doing daily updates on everything that's going on that might impact you and your family. Now, I am seeing war pouring into the comments, and if you're concerned that we might be heading into another war, you're not alone. Global tensions are rising, and when the uncertainty hits, a lot of people start wondering about how to protect their savings. So that's why today I wanted to introduce you to my friends over at Lear Capital. Now, I've personally spoken to their team, and I appreciate the knowledge who can walk you through your even been thinking about protecting. You can call the number now down in the comments for you. But let's go ahead and take a look at these articles so that way you can get the latest coming out today, as Trump says Medvedev is entering dangerous territory after the U.S.-Russia war threats that are unfolding here. And I saw all of those wars pouring into the comments, people saying that is the direction that we are going to be going. Now, this article says, U.S. President Donald Trump on July 31st today warned the former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev to watch his words, accusing him of crossing a line with increasing inflammatory rhetoric. Let's keep it that way and tell Medvedev, the failed former president of Russia who thinks he's still the president, to watch his words, Trump wrote on Truth Social. He's entering very dangerous territory. In his post, Trump also dismissed concerns about India's trades with Russia. They can take their dead economies down together for all I care, he wrote. We have done very little business with India. Their tariffs are too high, among the highest in the world. The remarks follow Medvedev's July 28th statement that Trump's ultimatum game with Moscow amounts to a threat to Russia and pushes the United States itself closer to war. Mo Senior Miles, thank you for the $5 super chat. The Indians need more than 25% tariffs because they scam Americans out of their money and bought all the gas stations. Thank you for that, Mo Senior, $5 super chat. Appreciate that. And yeah, we're hearing that this is going to be implemented as of tomorrow. So unless something changes, we're going to be seeing those tariffs applied. Now, each new ultimatum is a threat and a step towards war, said Medvedev, currently deputy chair of Russia's senior council. Not between Russia and Ukraine, but with his own country. So again, these are threats directed towards the United States. Medvedev is known for his aggressive, apocalyptic rhetoric and frequent threats of nuclear escalation. His posts regularly echo Kremlin propaganda, portraying Russia as the victim of Western aggression and defending further war escalation as justified. Now, in response to Trump's remarks, Medvedev said that if his words provoked such a nervous reaction, it meant Russia is right about everything and will continue to go its way. Medvedev mocked Trump's comments, referencing the Walking Dead TV show and warning the United States president to remember how dangerous a non-existent dead hand can be, a nod to Russia's Cold War era automated nuclear retaliation system. So these are nuclear threats and warnings from Russia towards the United States. Now, Trump said on July 30th, yesterday.
So this whole dead hand switch system is a point that I just want to focus on, because again, it goes to show you how at any moment, catastrophe could happen. And like I mentioned, dealing with the Samson option, that those small hats, you know, they've been threatening to use. Basically, dealing with this dead hands system, when the head is cut off, so to say, and in this case, dealing with Russia, basically, when the leadership gets taken out, this system is set up to where all these dealing with Russia, all this, all their missiles, because everyone, and this is the thing about Esau. I'm gonna grab this real quick. Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14 and verse 17, dealing with Esau, all right, the so-called white man. Isaiah 14 and 17, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. So again, dealing with Esau, and more in particular, America, all right, like it says in verse 4, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. And the current king of Babylon right now, your boy Trump, good old Trump. It says, and say, how had the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. You see, because, America is not the big bad bully on the block anymore. All right. I believe it might have been in this video, or maybe another video that I watched pertaining to this subject, dealing with these sanctions, all the threats of sanctioning these different nations. Well, for the most part, these nations, they've been sanctioned so long, they've learned how to operate around these sanctions. And this is why you see these nations coming up with these different alternate systems, such as the BRICS, a prime example, right? These nations, they've learned how to adapt and work around these sanctions. They've learned how to work around the US dollar and so on and so forth. All right. So again, America ultimately is not the big bad bully on the block anymore. All right. So with that being said, like it reads in verse 6, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he have ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted and none hindereth. So you see, here it is. America for a long time has had the scope, or rather the one up on everybody. All right. But now we're to a point where, hey, all these nations, because for the most part, all right. And that's why I read verse 14, or rather, I'm sorry, verse 17, when it says that made the world a wilderness, right? Because everyone is to a point where, like I said, these nations, man, they're not stacking up on missiles for no reason. All right. And not only are these nations stacking up on missiles, all right, everyone's pointing their missiles at one another. They're pointing their guns at one another. It's like an old Wild Wild West scene. All right. And this is, again, going into this whole dead man system, dead hand system. All right. Which, again, is similar to the Samson option. Right. Dealing with Russia's leadership. If the leadership gets taken out, then all these missiles that are pointed at one another, they're going to go off. All these missiles are going to get fired. You see, so like the scripture say, rumor went in, 1 year in, and the rumor, right? Rumor after rumor, right? Rumor after rumor, but eventually something is going to happen, and all hell is going to start breaking loose. All right. So, like I said, it just goes to show you how dangerously close we are. All right. Revelation 7:1. And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, going into the nuclear destruction. It says that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having a seal of the living power. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads. So again, certain prophecies have to take place before this nuclear fallout. All right. But nevertheless, the pressure is building in the pipes. The pressure is mounting. All right. And like I said, Yahweh Bashmal Shai being the ultimate chess master. All right. Chess player. All right. The Lord is moving these chess pieces around, moving everything into place. Like I said, the main thing we're looking out for is the mandation of that MOTB. Because once that takes place, at some point, these angels that is holding back this nuclear destruction, they're going to be given that green light. Hey, let it fire. And those missiles are going to get sent out of those silos, and they're going to be shot from one end of the earth like arrows, as the scriptures describe. All right, arrows being shot from one end of the earth to the next at some point. So we're inching closer and closer to this sudden destruction. All right. But I just wanted to speak on this dead hand system real quick, because again, man, it just goes to show you how dangerously close we are. We are dangerously close. All right. So Lord, one of this was edifying. All praises to you. How about Shema Shai? Shalom to you, hopefully, elect.